What is up, Scoop family, Buckeye Nation? Everybody in the chat already going pretty strong. One day closer to another game day, another Ohio State football game day. So that's always a good thing. Do me a favor, please like this video, hit that thumbs up if you see it, and then also subscribe if you have not done so. Hit the notification bell so when we go live, it'll pop up on your phone, device, or whatever. Got Ohio University coming up. Coming off of a game, we're going to show some clips and we're going to discuss some plays. Got a little bit of all 22. We're going to go over and we're going to talk about who's pushing for playing time. Coming off of that Grambling game, some young pups definitely bit. You know the quote, John Cooper. If he's gonna bite, if a dog's gonna bite, he's gonna bite as a pup. And so the pups were biting against Grambling. So who's gonna step up and take some playing time? We're gonna talk about that. But also make sure. When you send super chats, helps to go towards our pay it forward military first responders. We're going to take care of them because they take care of us. Nevada, let's bring you in immediately. Sir, how are you feeling today?
Kind of sad, sad day. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. Charlie Kirk got shot, killed today, and just sad that that's where we're at. Sad that it happened. Sad for his family. Just sad. So, I love Ohio State football. Great, distraction and release from reality. But I always pray in these situations that something good can come out of it. I don't know what the good is here, but I just hope that it comes because it's pretty horrible. And so a little down, but been looking forward to the pod with you, B, because that always cheers me up and puts me in a better place mentally. And I love the Buckeyes, and I love hanging out with you during the evening time talking football. So let's get to it.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I'll just touch on it real quick. Definitely sad, heavy heart. And listen, I'm as nonpartisan and non-political as you can get. I'm not a card carrying anything. Okay. There's people in politics. I agree with some. I disagree with some. But regardless, this type of thing is ridiculous. It's sad. It's evil. No matter what side it happens on or who on what side did what. This is an awful thing. Wife and children left behind. Um, you know, it's definitely sad, man. So it's been a heavy day just looking at our nation and what happened and the reaction of some to what happened. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. And so, yeah, this is definitely this podcast. We talk Buckeye football here, excited about our team. We're not going to just disregard what's going on, but also this is what we're here for. So we're going to dive into it, man, and talk about some young guys getting out there and making some plays and all that. But, hey, listen, I'm glad you brought it up, man, because it's the elephant in the room and it's sad. And I think we should at least put it out there and address it.
Yeah, I mean it's real life, man. Ohio State football is the fun time, but that's the real life stuff. But yeah, gotta we just gotta continue on, and like I said, hope for the best, hope for something good.
Yep, for sure, man. And of course, listen, one last thing before we transition. I'm a praying man. I make no bones about it. I'm a man of faith. And so, I've been praying, for the family. And this is what I do. I don't care who it is. This is tragic. I don't care if we agree, they're on the other side. I'm a pray because this is awful. So I'm asking y'all, pray and then pray for this nation. Pray for the nation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a lot of evil and wickedness and evil hearts out there. So that's my message. Take it or leave it, but that's my message regardless. But with that said, uh, Bill Green, our good brother Bill Green, the veteran, been around for a long, long time, and he dropped a nice post on Buckeye Scoop, basically talking about the youngins that are pushing for PT. And so talking to his sources, his guys, what they're telling him, kind of emphasizing behind the scenes what the coaches are thinking. And so we're gonna kind of, go hand in hand with that as we kind of show some tape, some film, and go over some plays and really discuss who is pushing And also, I want to see in the chat, who do you want to see more? Obviously, you want to say, oh, the young guys play, but we know all the young guys are not going to play first team snaps, or they're not going to play meaningful minutes yet. Somebody's going to emerge. Somebody's going to have to wait. So, as I'm asking the chat, Nevada, before we get into the film watch, who's your number one guy? If you have the power to choose which young pup is going to play, meaningful minutes, like with the second or third series with the ones, who would your number one guy be?
I mean, for me, it'd be Bo Jackson. It'd be Bo
Okay.
Jackson, just because I haven't seen enough out of CJ Donaldson and James Peoples to convince me that they're just, far and away better than Bo. And I one of the smartest things that I've ever heard, said, my brother, who was a, God rest his soul, was the smartest person I've ever met. And he used to always say to me, he's like, I always reserve the right to change my mind. And I just think that's a great way. That's such a smart way to go about life,
Yes.
because you're not dogmatic. You're not locked into positions. You're like, hey, if you can convince me otherwise, I will change my mind on this issue. And um, right now, where I'm at on our running back things, I don't think our running backs are good enough. I mean, I'm talking about the start. I don't think Peoples and Donaldson, I'm not saying they're bad players. I'm not saying they're not great Buckeyes or great kids, or can't make meaningful contributions or can't pop off and go there. But what I've seen so far, I I it's not where I want it to be. And maybe we've been spoiled by Quinshawn and Trey and some
Yeah.
of the greatness of the running back, and that's very possible. Um, but I just want to see more. And with Bo, I just get glimpses of more. And I don't know what it is. It's kind of an intangible thing that sometimes you can't really put your finger on, but it just seems like Bo Jackson has it. And maybe that could have just be fool's gold. That could just be Grambling, Grambling glitter. And you know what I'm saying? And hey, he was playing against
I
them.
like that.
So, and maybe the other guys just, just, hey, they had to play Texas the first week and they're just trying to get their legs under them, and they can be great. So um I always reserve the right to change my mind, but gun to my head right now, ask me the question who I'm going with. I'd say Bo Jackson. I'd say Bo Jackson is the guy that I think he can help us the most, because the other guys that I'd be thinking about, the Riley Pettijohns or the Devin Sanchez's or guys like that, man, we're pretty set at those spots. You know what I'm saying? We're pretty set in the defensive backfield. We're pretty set at linebacker. But at running back, I don't know yet. I don't think we have that guy, that alpha dog, just yet. Can
Yeah.
Peoples be him? For sure. Can Donaldson be him? Yeah. But maybe Bo's that guy. So that's a long answer to a short question, but it'd be Bo Jackson.
No, I like it, and I agree. I mean, to me, I think that's the obvious answer, in my opinion, because everything you just said is correct. It's like we're set in a lot of ways. Um, it's like, yes, Sanchez is definitely tempting because he's just a stud, but we're good at corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know he comes in and dime and stuff like that. But with Bo Jackson, here's the deal. Okay, Peoples and Donaldson, I think both can be very solid. Peoples actually looked pretty good. I know it was Grambling, but he made some nice runs. Although he was horse collared like 3 times, Nevada, which was weird. I don't think I've seen anybody get horse collared 3 times in one game. One of them, the last one, finally got a flag. But I thought he looked pretty good, all things considered. He just needs to, he's still learning. This is only his second start. So I have some patience for him. But at the same time, like you said, Nevada, Bo Jackson looks like he has the it, right? Like Peoples may know the protections more right now. He may know the offense more. He may be more reliable now. But Bo Jackson seems to have more upside. You just look at him and see the talent. And so I know it's like it's only Grambling. I get it, but there has to be a balance between it's only whoever it is, because talent is talent. I'll give y'all an example of something happened years ago. I got criticized on social media because I was talking about this safety we had at Ohio State that was just making plays. It was against a lesser team, but this safety made an outstanding interception. I mean, athletic as you can get. And was one cat was like, "You always do that. It's only Bowling Green or whoever it was." And I'm just like, dog, I don't care who it is. That dude right there is a stud. And guess who that player ended up being? Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker. You can see talent. Talent is talent. Yes, you can say wait and see, and let's see him do it against better competition. Sure. But there's sometimes just like, listen, you can recognize talent. And Bo Jackson, to me, looks like a stud. He looks like eventually he's going to be a stud. So I agree with you, Nevada. I want to see him earlier in this game. I don't know if it's going to happen, but he needs to be in there in the first half. He needs to be in there in the first quarter. Give him a couple carries because his vision mixed with his burst, and I said this in my practice nugget note when I went to the practices. You could see it. His speed is deceptive. He has great vision. He knows how to get north while seeing the hole. He can see the hole and get north, and is shifty enough to maintain his northness while getting, you know what I'm saying? It's just he has it, man. So I agree. I'm excited about Bo Jackson. He's on my number one list. He was my number one which pup's gonna bite last week. Yes, absolutely. The question is, will they play him? We're gonna see. But while I pull this up, what you got on that?
Oh, look, they like him a lot. I mean, I always say the players know who the players are, and you can talk to staff. You can tell who they're kind of excited about, and you can tell they're excited about Bo Jackson. But the way things are, they just have to be so careful. They have to handle this really, really carefully because in your effort to, um, you know, kind of elevate Bo, you don't want to diminish CJ Donaldson or Jace Peoples because those
Right.
guys are the here and now, and Bo may be the future, but you don't want those guys to mentally go into the doghouse or feel whatever sort of way about this stuff. So it's this isn't Madden where you just like push one guy out and pull the other guy. These are real human beings and young men that you're
Yeah.
dealing with, and so you've got to handle this stuff really, really delicately and really, really carefully. But I definitely get a strong suspicion that they're going to, try to see what they have in Bo. And um, he came off a catastrophic injury coming out of high school. I mean, before then, he was one of the top running backs in the country. And frankly, the reason when they got him, that for me kind of ended the whole Savion Hyder kind of discussion because I didn't feel like they were going to really run after a running back that hard that year, especially when they're so in on the kid from Tennessee for 2027. So I didn't really feel like they were going to throw the bag in anybody in 2026. But a lot of that has to do with Bo Jackson. I mean, Peoples is young. Donaldson will be moving on, but Bo's a young guy. Trevor Rogers is a young guy. And so I think they like that. But yeah, the Bo Jackson thing is going to be real. I think of all the position things to watch, man, that's the one that's super, super interesting because he's a guy, running back's a position that's pretty much, here's the ball, run to the hole. And
Right.
freshmen can do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's other positions that require a little bit more understanding of things, and
Yeah.
that's it, not necessarily the running back position. Running back, if you're a running back and you've got the gift, you can go do it. And my question with Bo is how much had he recovered from the injury? And I kept hearing from inside they felt that he was full go and that it was just a matter of him trusting it and kind of going with it because a lot of times with an injury, it's
Yeah.
nothing physical, it's the
Fear.
mental. Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
your head. Can you trust it to kind of cut the way that you used to cut and go the way you used to go? They think that he has, and they think that he can. So, that'll be really interesting to watch this week against Ohio U because, after this game, you've got a week off, and then you go to Washington. And while you know, in- I'm not dismissing the idea that Ohio U can keep it competitive because Ohio U did beat West Virginia. That Ohio U is not terrible. Um, but the chances of us losing the game are pretty slight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
season pretty much really starts in 2 weeks when we go to Washington, or or the week after that. So I think they've got to get them ready. I think they've got to do it, my strong sense is that they will. I don't know how much or how they're going to put it in there, but he turned some heads on the team. He turned some heads on the staff, and I think he's going to get some burned sooner than later.
Yeah, me too. And one thing I think is a blessing in disguise is that I don't know if y'all saw this, but he fumbled. right by the goal line on his last play that he played in the game. And you know that's a no-no. Coach Locke got after him predictably. That's what he does. And so to me, that's a blessing in disguise that he got that out of the system in a meaningless situation where it didn't affect the game. But it was one of those things like, see, you got to stay focused. You would not be carrying my ball, son, if you can't hold on to it. I don't care how good you look. So you got that coaching point to go into practice for the week to get him mentally prepared to make sure that he secures that ball, because that's the number one thing. I mean, again, ball security. We're not going to run you. I don't care how good you look running if you're going to put the ball on the ground. So I think that was kind of a blessing in disguise, Nevada, that he did that, because now if they are going to give him snaps, they can drill that in, and that's a real coaching point because he just did it and he could take it seriously,
Well, I mean, turnovers are the devil, man. You know that that goes for
Yeah,
quarterbacks, that goes for running backs, and again, so blessed by Trey. I think Trey had some stat where, like, in 4 years, he never lost a fumble at Ohio
yeah,
State. I mean,
yep,
I mean,
crazy.
that's a crazy stat right now, but that's kind of the world that we're coming from. And so now we got to go from that. And these guys, you can't put the ball on the ground. You put the ball on the ground, I don't care how good you are, I don't care how bursty you are, I don't care whatever it is, you're not going to be playing. So
Yep.
got to take care of that ball security, number one, two, and three. And we've seen, how many times have we seen a game turn on just one, one fumble, one time getting loose with the ball. It's like, can't have that happen. So it'll be interesting. That's the fun part of a game like this, is you get to see these guys, see how they're kind of reacting, and we'll see how he does, and we'll see how his ball, we'll see if he's got that ball tight and around his chest when he's running, or if he's got that thing hanging out there, got the 3 points covered. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'm about to show some clips. We're going to go through a few plays from the game. Obviously, we won 70-0, not really any anxiety or tension, but there was some plays that were, good plays. We've seen all the touchdown passes and stuff like that. But one thing, these first couple plays I want to point out are from Brandon Ennis. Brandon Ennis is involved in the play, I should say. And so one quick thing, Nevada, because I know I didn't get a chance to respond to what you were saying about Mylan Graham and all that. Me personally, I don't like the Mylan Graham versus Brandon Ennis thing going on with some of our fans. And I'm not saying you're doing that because you're smarter than that. You just like Graham, his potential. So do I. But Ennis wasn't bad. I mean, the way people talk is like he didn't play well against Grambling. He had a good game. He made some plays. He's just not as bursty. Graham had that one play where he shook the dude and took off for 24 yards. That was, that was a sexy play, and I enjoyed it. But Ennis made some plays as well. So I'm hoping they both can continue to grow, because this is only Ennis's second start. And I hope they keep working Graham in. Just work him in. If we go 4 wide or something, take a tight end out, because they usually they've been flexing clear out to the slot when we go wide like that. Just bring him in a couple times, Graham, and send him on a 9 route, or even on a post, and just get him worked in more. But anyway, I wanted to say that before we get into this clip, because Brandon is a part of this clip. Did you want to say something before I hop into it?
Well, I mean, that us as Ohio State fans, we always make these broad decisions and proclamations based upon one play. That's
Yeah.
what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You see one guy out there, you're like, nope, can't play, can't play, or whatever it is, or this guy, no, he's the future. I mean, it's what we do, B. So
Yeah.
it's like, come on, man. But no, I like Mylan Graham. Um, I just want Brandon to dominate the way that I know that, I mean, that a 5-star player can do. And I mean, not fair, but like that first game against Texas, I want to see him make that catch. I want to see,
Yeah,
what I'm saying? I
for
want to
sure.
see him secure that ball. But look, it's one play. Let's go. Let's go get something else, and let's make some plays, Brandon. You can do it.
Yep, for sure. And so this first play, I'm showing this first play mainly because I believe it sets up the play I'm going to show after that. Okay. So this play right here. All right. Let me go ahead and widen the screen. So this play right here is the end around play. Okay. So let's go ahead and run it. And then for this TV copy, I'm going to have to take it off the screen just to make sure there's no YouTube goofy strikes. Okay. Here's the end around. Gets the first down. solid run. I'm gonna take it off. Okay. So this, in my opinion, Nevada, I definitely want you to weigh in on this. This sets up a later play that to me was just beautiful. Now we've run this before. Okay, Nevada, you're going to recognize this play when I show it. And let me go to it. And those in the chat, I want to know if you've seen us run this before. I'm pretty sure we ran it with Henderson. We might have run it with Henderson and Judkins, but it's the GY counter play where we show the orbit motion. Let me go ahead and share my screen again, get it back on, and you can see what I'm talking about. So here we go. All right. Hold up. No, that's not it. My bad. Hold on real quick. Did I write down the wrong time? I'm going to make sure I find it. But Nevada, I want to ask you about this end around while I'm looking for this clip for Brandon Ennis. I know he didn't look Ted Ginn fast, but he did pick up the first down. What did you think about that play? Do you think it was, oh, okay, that was fine, or he could have did better? Or what's your thoughts on that play while I look up this other one?
Well, I mean, that play clearly, like you said, is to set up other things. And the idea what Ohio State's been trying to do in practice the last few weeks has been, working on, you try to stretch the team, horizontally and make them respect things like that, because that way you get the game flow going one way, then you can bring it back the other way. And they've been trying that with the counter action. They've been trying that with their traps. You can try it with that play, but no, he got the most. That was, I mean, nobody else. I don't care. Bullet Bob Hayes wasn't going to do better with that than that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he got as much as was blocked up on that thing. But that plays, I love plays like that, because that is a play. That's a sequential play. That's a play that builds upon something else. And when you show I like plays that provide a constraint to the defense, where it makes them respect something else that you're doing. That's why I like about the quarterback run. But I like plays like that where you've got to respect that orbit motion, that guy kind of going around like that, because if you don't, next time we're going to beat you around the other side. So I like that a lot.
Yep. So I found it, and I agree with all of that. I found a play. So just in my notes, so I can paint the picture. So you see the guard is pulling. This the GY counter. The G is obviously the guard. The Y stands for the tight end. Okay, you're going to see them pull. Now watch Brandon Ennis come in motion. Watch this. Grambling is thinking up. They're running that end around orbit motion again. Watch the linebacker get pulled the other way. Here we go. Come back the other way with the counter with Donaldson. Boom. Wide open play. I'm going to go back real quick so you can see it from the beginning real quick, and then I'll cut it off. Check it out. Here comes Ennis. Watch the linebacker flow to the right. Get out of the play. Runs out of the play completely. Gaping hole for Donaldson. Henderson scores on that. But, God bless Donaldson. But it is what it is. So I wanted to show that play just because, to me, I've seen it before. It's a really good call. And again, the orbit motion, especially when it works, it sets up for other things. We've seen this. We've run orbit motion or some type of motion, even if it's not orbit, so many times to set up things later. We've run it with a Buka. We've run it, and just different Xavier Johnson. We've run different type of things to set him up on a linebacker down the field. I just love it. I absolutely love it. So Nevada, what did you think about that play in the game, that particular play? Did your mind automatically go to that earlier Brandon Ennis play, or what was your thoughts? Because I loved it.
Yeah, my first thought was, yeah, Trey would have scored. That was a play that Trey Anderson, we saw him play in the playoffs. But now I look, that's right out of the Chip Kelly playbook. I love when they do that stuff, when they pull that stuff out, when you get that stuff kind of going. Um, because look, I hate predictable football. I hate it when we're just lining up and running to a spot. When teams do that, I think it's so easy to defend. I don't care if you're playing Grambling or Texas or Georgia or whomever. If you're predictable, it's problematic, and I hate that. So I love stuff like this. You can tell what they've been practicing, all week long. They've been pulling that stuff off, and it's nice to see it go in practice. But I think we'll see more of that. I think you'll see more tempo. I think you'll see more misdirection. I think you'll see more counter. I think you'll see more constraint. So you'll see more cross buck type action, because Ohio State's building. And this really is. We've talked about this before, where people say, "Oh, opening up the playbook," but we really are, because that game one was Texas in the shoe with a first time starting quarterback and a lot of new starters on offense, and terrible field position, and a lead that you wanted to protect. So it was very, very difficult to kind of go from that, to kind of build off of that. Now, Grambling, they could open that up a little bit more. You'll see more against Ohio U, and I think they'll run that to great effect.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Now, we talked about Bo Jackson. I'm going to pull his first touchdown up now so we can take a look at that. And it's just this play was like literally like a practice tape. Like, this is how you're supposed to run this play, because it wasn't just Bo Jackson, y'all. Look at how the line blocks this up. I'm about to pull this up now. Look at how the line blocks this up. Boom. Here we go. All right. So it froze right there for you. You see how the line has engaged. That hole is already gaping before the other linemen go through with their other assignments. Here he comes. Now, let me go back. Look at how Bo Jackson gets north through that hole, picks his way through that hole. Let me go back so I can go slower for y'all. Look at how he picks his way through this hole. Getting north, okay? Getting north, but seeing the vision, getting through the hole. But kudos to the O-line, okay? So to me, and let me stop it just to be careful. I mean, I know that sounds simple and it looks simple, but he keeps doing that. Like, this is not just here. Like, we've been hearing about this in practice. I saw it in practice. I saw him doing this. And so you could see the combination of burst, vision. He has great size. He runs with really good pad level for his height. He's a taller back. And so he just has it, Nevada. And it's hard to not want to see him get in there. Even though we got Peoples and Donaldson, and God bless them, I think they still got room to grow. I'm not done with them. But Bo Jackson, he just shows he has the it. But what did you think about that play? Not just for him, but that line. I mean, that was a clinic of how they opened that hole up.
Yeah, no, they blocked it up well, and Bo just showed he showed vision on that, and was able to pick his way there, get the score. And when you a guy that you allow it to open up for you, so you don't just run spot. It would have been easy to him to cut left and run into the traffic, and maybe that's a 2-yard gain, and everybody's upset or play call, because patience will kind of open up. A lot of guys get the second level. He walks in the end zone almost untouched. So that's what the great running backs can do. I'm not anointing him a great running back. I'm not putting him on the pantheon of greats, just because of a little performance against Grambling, but he's good. He's good, and I want to see more. I want to see more of what he has to offer, because I think he is a guy that if he broke through the line, it's going to be tough to catch him. I mean, he's definitely
Yeah.
got that kind of breakaway speed. He's definitely got that kind of elusiveness. Um, and he was a great running back in high school. I mean, for anybody who had a chance to watch him in high school, he was a pleasure to watch. And I think that he's getting back there. You can see him kind of rounding into form, and it'll be really interesting to see what they do. But look, we've got to get the running game untracked. I have zero doubts about our ability to throw the football. Zero.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Julian Sane is that guy. Our wide receivers can all get out there. We've got great tight ends, and we've got an offensive line that hasn't given up a sack in 2 games. So that is a combination for a prolific passing attack. Running, I think we've got legitimate questions. Not that we're saying that we're not going to be able to run the football or whatever it is, but if you ask which side are we, do we have more question marks on? It's certainly on the running side, because our running
Yeah.
backs haven't shown it yet, and we haven't been able to demonstrate an ability just to kind of go out there and run it well. And we also don't have a running quarterback, or have a quarterback that's really been fully integrated into the running game. So I think those are the questions that they're going to have to answer. They're going to have to answer what kind of team are they going to be, how are they going to approach running, and if you're not going to run the quarterback a lot, then you better have a lot of deception, like you showed on that clip with the orbit motion, the setting plays up going one way, then bringing it back the other, because otherwise you make it really difficult on the offensive line and really difficult on the running game in general. So I think Ryan Day and Brian Hartline got to figure that out over the next few weeks and then commit to it.
Yep, and that's why I think this Ohio game is very, very important. I mean, you laid it out perfectly. It's kind of hard to experiment as much on the road at Washington in your first conference game with a new starting quarterback. This Ohio game, to me, is the perfect situation because it's not Grambling. Ohio's a little better. They just beat West Virginia. They took Rutgers to the ropes. It's better competition, but not so much better that you're risking it. And so to me, come on, dog, you got to play Bo in the first quarter of this game. That's just my opinion. And so I want to get to saying, we talked about saying, we know he's been great, but I wanted to show this interception. And then I want to get to a couple plays on defense because I know I asked about it last time. And Ryan Day, he confirmed, that, hey, it was just a matter of lateness, with the throw, because there was some speculation about other things. And I'm just like, he was just late. So here's the play right here. Okay. There it is. There's the pick. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. All right. So here we go. Now, as you can see, we talked about some would say it's a rub route. Some others would say it's a switch. Depending on your terminology, the purpose is, especially when you have man coverage like this, is to try to, within the legal abilities of the rules, to sort of confuse the DBs of who's taking who with the routes that they're running, to try to rub them off and create separation. Okay, so you're going to see Jeremiah Smith. He's going to come with a little inside route, a little, and that's saying that you're going to see that he's going to pump and look for. Now, the Grambling linebacker does a great job. He does a great job of cutting that off. As you can see here, here comes Jeremiah. Linebacker, he stands in the hole before he can throw it. Okay, now you see saying kind of clutch a little bit, clutches, looking for JJ. About right here, he pumps and then he throws the ball way late to Carnell Tate. Okay, so let me ask you, Nevada, and I'm gonna take this off the screen. Let me ask you this, because on that route concept, you gotta be decisive and you gotta see it quickly, because that pump, in my opinion, really put Sand in a situation to where he was just already late. Now, it's possible he could have got it out there if he was a little quicker, but I think he was kind of locked in on that first read to Jeremiah, which then was kind of the domino effect for him to be late. He should have just threw it away. I mean, in hindsight, right? But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's hindsight, but that's the way it's drawn up. I mean, if you don't, I mean, that ball's designed to go to Jeremiah, and
Yeah,
when I think he just made up his mind, you know, pre-snap, that he was going to be able to get that, and he didn't anticipate that linebacker drifting out underneath that. And when he saw that, he just didn't. No, I mean, personally, I don't like plays like that where, because it basically was almost like a two-man route
yeah,
on that side. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see a lot of other options for him, but you're exactly right. When they jump it, you just throw it away. You just throw it away, and you live to do another play or whatever it is. But you can't throw it in that situation. You can never be late in that situation. That is a decisive throw. That's an immediate throw. And if it's not there, you just pick it up and kind of go on to the next one. But you just can't. That's a mistake that, look, if I was coaching 10-year-olds in flag football, you can't make that mistake. You know what I'm saying? That, like, you
right.
just gotta pick it up, take the next one, take your medicine. Sometimes you got to take your medicine, but I thought that was kind of a lazy play call, lazy design, and Grambling did a good job of taking it away. They did a great job of jumping. jumping the JJ, underneath route with the linebacker. And at that point, it was going to take it would have taken a perfect throw and an immediate recognition that JJ was out of the play to try to get that ball to Carnell out there, because the
Yep.
grandpa just said that had sometimes the defense has it schemed up, and in that case they just had outmaneuvered us and did a really nice job on that.
Yeah, they did. I agree. Now let's get to the defense. I'm going to show y'all. This is the Caleb Downs interception that I'm going to show y'all, which was amazing. First of all, as I'm pulling this up, did you even? Because listen, I was watching the game. I was on the live feed with Dev, and when I was watching the play, Nevada, I didn't realize what happened. It happened so quick. It was such a bang bang play, and I'm just like, hold on, what happened? Caleb Downs interception. That first of all, he made it look easy. That is not easy to catch the ball like he did right over. I mean, like it's bang bang, like right in your face. It's like catching, like Bruce Leroy catching a bullet in his teeth. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
no,
Like, what did
yeah,
you?
no.
Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah. I mean, basically, it's just it's one of those classic, like in the old days when Ohio State would drop the defensive end, and whether it be Solomon Thomas making the interception or Steve Miller
Or
or
Steve
whomever, what I'm saying.
Miller. Yeah.
Yeah, that it's one of those plays where you line it up and then you drop back, and then you got to be ready for that rifle shot right over your head, and he was able to snag that thing and come down with it and made it look easy. It wasn't easy at all. But yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of a staple of the simulated pressure, is that the quarterback does not know where it's coming from. And so that means he doesn't know where the pressure is going to be coming from, but he also doesn't know where guys are going to be dropping into those short zones. So if he's reading it as an all-out blitz and he's going to go to a hot read and throw a quick slant or something like that, well, then all of a sudden Caleb Downs steps right in there, makes the pick, makes the play. That's the whole essence of the defense, is putting guys in a position like that to make a play. But Caleb Downs is super athletic and was able to make it, and that was a highlight for sure.
And listen, before I click on this share, Nevada, that is exactly what happened. Just like I said on the Bo Jackson run, how it looks like a clinic tape of how you're supposed to run that play. This looks like a clinic tape of how you're supposed to run it. What happened is exactly the purpose of running this scheme. I mean, it's perfect. And you're going to see, I'm going to show you here. Let me go ahead and make this a little bigger for y'all. All right. So check this out. I'm going to run it in full time. Here we go. Boom. Look at that play. Look at that catch. It's crazy. All right. So let me go back, and I'm going to run it in slow motion. But before we do, I want y'all to see what's happening. Caleb Downs, like Nevada said, is showing sim pressure. Now, look, you see Sonny Styles, number 0. Okay. Number 0 right here. Okay. He's roaming. He's roaming before the snap. Check him out, roaming. And here he comes now. Okay. He's showing pressure. Caleb Downs is already showing pressure up on the line before the snap, well before the snap. Okay. So like Nevada said, you see this pressure coming. Okay. You got your 4-man front. They're all coming. And then also, you can't really see it right now, but it's man defense. You got them running with their guys downfield. But like Nevada said, here comes Caleb Downs. Let me slow this up. Drops back right in the hole. That is perfect defense. That is exactly how it was designed, y'all. It is so beautiful. And listen, again, Caleb Downs. Listen, Sonny Styles or Pierce might have dropped that ball. Nevada, no shade to them, right? He's the perfect one in that spot to close out that passing lane and make the play. I just absolutely love this play. I'm gonna run it full time again, or full speed. Boom, here it comes. Here's Sonny. Boom. I mean, beautiful, Nevada. What you got on that, man?
Yeah, well, it just takes a special athlete to do it. And you see it's the little things. It's not just showing the simulated pressure and then dropping right out of it. It's the simulated pressure, then taking the step forward like you're actually going to engage, and then dropping back. And you
Yeah.
don't think you think, well, what difference could that make? Well, the quarterback's looking at you and all of a sudden he's seeing you coming, or the lineman seeing you coming, that communicates one thing. And and then when you drop back, that's not what they're expecting. So, Ohio State has really worked hard at that in the offseason. They worked hard at this, all throughout the spring, all throughout the fall, in terms of giving these kind of confusing looks to quarterbacks so that they just don't know where it's going to be coming from. And you could use the expression coffee house blitz or whatever you want to use, but it's all about confounding the offensive line and the quarterback in terms of so they're not sure even when you line up or even when the play begins where the pressure is coming from. So
Yeah.
the idea of getting a pre-snap read is kind of out the window because you're just not sure where it's going to be coming from. And then when you have great athletes like Caleb who instinctively know where the passing lanes are, can drop in there, and then can actually have the athleticism to get up and then make the interception. Well, that's why he's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft and make $300 million in the NFL when he goes because he's a special kind of athlete.
Now, let me ask you while I'm waiting for this other clip to load up. Off the top of the head, do you know the last highest safety that was picked? That's not a way of asking it. What's the highest draft pick that a safety has gone recently? Does that make more sense?
I'd have to look. I mean, I just I always I pay attention to the Buckeyes. Don't pay as much attention to. I guess I could ask Brock or whatever it is, but obviously
Yeah, Groff.
Dante Whitner went what, eighth or whatever it was, to the Bills, way back when
Yeah,
in the good old days. But I know that safety is not a particularly high value position from that standpoint. But I don't know that right off the top of my head. But I could punch it in AI and find out and just give me 10
yeah. Just
seconds and
just
I will.
curious. Yeah, I'm just curious because I know some people are saying, well, Caleb Downs is great, but they really don't take safeties that high. He'll probably go mid first round because, they just don't take safeties that high. I'm just like, man, I don't know, man. He's not just a safety. He's more than that. He's more than that. So I want to see this kid go
It, it,
top
it was it,
five.
it was Jamal Adams in 2017 was the
Oh,
last. He
LSU,
was
right?
Yeah, he was drafted sixth overall by the Jets. So
Sixth. Okay. That's
so
what it was because they were saying there hasn't been a safety to go top five since such and such. And yeah, and they mentioned him, but he was sixth. So let me ask you, and I know it depends on what team is picking and what the need is versus best available and all other stuff. But do you think he's that phenomenal that a team is just like, listen, we got to take him? Top five. What do you
I, I
think?
I would, but you understand my drafting philosophy is way different. If I'm running an NFL team, if Nevada Buck is running the NFL team, I'm not wasting top picks on a quarterback. I'm just not. I think the quarterback position is such a crapshoot in terms of who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. I'm not taking unless there's just one that was just like can't miss, guaranteed, do a thing. Because I mean, I look at guys and I'm like Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's been okay, right? But was he
Yeah.
like guaranteed number one guy or whatever? You know what I'm saying? You've seen guys kind
Yeah.
of going, and I think you can get quarterbacks kind of off the trash heap. You know what I'm saying? Look at Baker Mayfield, like bounces through 5
Yeah.
teams and goes to Tampa Bay, and he's good. He's really good.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold. People giving up on Sam. He's gone. You know what I'm saying? Then he gets 30 million from the Seahawks after having a great year with the Vikings. Kirk Cousins has bounced around for years. I mean, you can find guys in terms of doing that. So for me, I'd be drafting can't miss players on either side of the ball. That's why, for me, if it's Kyler Murray or Nick Bosa, I'm going Nick Bosa. If I have a chance to go get Caleb Downs or a question at quarterback, I'm taking Caleb Downs because I'm taking the sure thing as opposed to the tougher spec. But that's just my philosophy on it. So long answer to a short question, yes, I would take him in the top 5 if I'm an NFL GM.
Yeah, no, I feel you and I hear you and I agree. And I know it just sounds biased because we're Buckeye fans, but Caleb Downs is really phenomenal, y'all. Like he's a great player. And some of the stuff he does, you just don't see it because it's impacting the play in a way that it's not him making someone fumble, but he's directing traffic. He's causing quarterbacks to second guess. Oh, number two is right there. So let me not see number 7 coming with the corner blitz. Like Matt Patricia is having a field day already, y'all, with these defensive weapons. And it starts with Caleb Downs. And so that's what we're trying to tell y'all. So real quick, we're going to get into Riley Pettyjohn, couple plays from him. That is another one. Bo Jackson and Riley Pettyjohn looks the part. I'm telling you, Riley Pettyjohn would be a starter on most other teams right now. I mean, he first of all, he looks the part, but we saw his impact when he had opportunities against Grambling, and I don't want to hear it's just Grambling. He's a freshman and he's out here doing this stuff. So this first play I want to show him was super impressive. In Nevada, this is a play I don't think that people really gave him credit for, that I thought was just super impressive. And this is pass coverage. Look at this. Look at this pass coverage as a linebacker. Okay. Boom. No flag, no arm around him. Boom. Let's see it again. Okay. This is a freshman linebacker, y'all, against a running back. Smaller, shiftier running back. Let's go slower for y'all. Okay. Breaks down, sees the cutback, perfect closeout, and swipes it away. I mean, that is textbook defense for a linebacker. Do you remember? I'm sure you do remember this play in Nevada, but what did you think about this? Were you impressed by this?
It's a heck of a play. I mean, it's a heck of a play. I mean, Riley's just got the look, man. He's got the long arms. He's got the change of direction, speed, the fluidity. Plays with violence. Really smart kid, and staff loves him. Absolutely loves him. There's just a log jam of really good players at linebacker. It's funny how the linebacker
Yeah.
position, it went from kind of a question mark to now we're like, you know, Arvell Reese, who could be a first round. I've seen him mocked in the first round now. Sonny Styles, Peyton Pierce, TJ Alford, Riley Pitt. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, they're clearly recruiting at a super high level there, but he's going to be a good one, man. He's going to be a good, he's got, played big time football in high school, has got everything that you want out of a modern linebacker, violent against the run, can cover against the pass equally well. I mean, I could not be higher on Riley Pettit, and a better kid you're not going to find either. So yeah, the arrows are all pointed straight up for Riley, and it's just a matter of him getting time. But when he gets time, he's going to make an impact.
Definitely. And we got one more play from Riley, but real quick, we're not going to show the clips right now just for the sake of time, but Alfred, the linebacker, number 7, was he 17 out there or was he 10? No, he wasn't 10. That's Delane. I think he was 17 out there, but you know his body type, who it reminded me of, Nevada, seeing him out there?
Who's that?
Jerome Baker.
Yeah,
If you go back and watch the game, doesn't he look like a lean, fast, like he looks like Jerome Baker physically, but he popped too. I mean, he looked the part as well. So I am super excited. God bless you, James Laurinaitis, for just revitalizing this linebacker room, because it's been kind of a lull as far as consistent stacked rooms. We haven't had like stacked rooms for a while, and to me, this linebacker room is now officially stacked. But let me show y'all this last play from Riley Pettyjohn. This is for you. Let me see. I'm a big Sandler fan. So yeah, Waterboy. This is Captain Insano. Captain Insano showed no mercy. This is what this is. Check out this play, y'all. This is Captain Insano power drive. Boom! You see that? Look at that tackle. This is what a linebacker is supposed to do. Right here. Look at this. Fill the hole. Boom. Bam. Listen, I know it's Grambling. I do not care. I don't care, Nevada. Speak on it. What you got, bro?
yeah. Well, he was a guy that I was really excited that they, when they got him, and they were talking about the issues that we were having at linebacker with some of the recruits, because we had some guys go elsewhere, some defensive recruits and things like that, and people were kind of dogging our defensive recruits, and I was like, Man, I don't know. I like these guys a lot.
Right,
I mean,
right.
now maybe I'm just not seeing what they're seeing, but no, that's a football play. I mean, you talk about you don't want to drag down linebacker, you want a guy that knocks him down. Well, that's the definition of knocking him down. And yeah, that was beautiful to watch. Haven't you haven't seen enough of that in modern football. And I don't, like I said, I don't care if it's Grambling or who you're playing against. That's just a picture perfect form tackle. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that over the next 2, 3 years.
Yeah, definitely, man. I absolutely loved it. And like I said, Duke Pettyjohn, he's a friend of Scoop. You know, he has a show, Pops Pod, here on Buckeye Scoop. And so there's a special relationship there. You love seeing kids do well, but it's just even more special when you have that connection. So shout out to Duke Pettyjohn. Just I absolutely love that play. And sky's the limit, man, for sure. And you mentioned defensive players. Listen, some of these guys that were overlooked because they didn't have 5 stars, they've been showing out in fall camp, and they flashed as well in the game. Zion Grady, number 15 out there, made some plays. Jaquez Carter, D tackle, he was pushing 2 guys. I mean, like consistently 2 yards back in the game. And then who was the other cat on defense that was splashing? Why am I forgetting their name? It was the other D end. Um, uh, Kirks. Kirks was out there making some plays as well, 55. So yeah, man, Nevada, it comes down to if we don't get all the 5 stars, then our defensive class must not be that good. But no, I trust our staff's evaluation, and they're already showing and proving that hey, these kids might be pretty good. And so very, very happy about the future of this team in general. And if you watched our show last night, we not done with recruiting. Okay. We're gonna make that surge. So keep your head on the swivel, Nevada.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's a super talented team. It's a super young team. It's a team that like, yeah, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves and start talking about future seasons, but we're going to be good for a while. There's no, it's just it's a top to bottom incredibly talented team. And I thought last year's roster was one of the most talented, if not the most talented I've ever seen at Ohio State. Well, I think this one's more talented. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are as a program. We're kind of stockpiling the product. But this is what you do when you become the modern Alabama, the 2025 version of Alabama. That's what you do. When the young guys come in, they come in and terrorize people, and you're like, wow, man, look at that. That's the future. Well, that's exactly what Ohio State did, last week. And I think we're starting to see that we've got some, great guys behind the young guys that we have going right now. And it's really, like I said, it's good for now, but it's certainly encouraging for the future as well.
Definitely. And real quick point I want to make about the whole Alabama thing, and then we'll get to the super chats, is that to me, the sign of what was to come with Ohio State taking the Saban's Alabama torch was, think about it like this. When Saban left, 2 players could have went just about anywhere. Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin, let me remind y'all, we didn't call him. In Nevada, you were all over this when this happened. Your sources, you were all over it. So you can please chime in and to confirm I'm not lying on here. Julian Sayin reached out to Ohio State. Okay. So boom, Alabama is done. Saban, Alabama is done. What is the next place that makes the most sense, equates or whatever? It was Ohio State. Okay. Same thing with Caleb Downs. Yes, Georgia was in there and all that, but Ohio State. And I'll say this real quick, Nevada, and this is why how you treat kids during recruiting matters. That's why a guy like Ryan Day, who's full of class, who has that culture of class, to not take a hot dookie on a kid if they pick another school and stay at it and keep the relationship, because Caleb Downs mentioned that. He loved how Ryan Day handled when he was told no. And that was a part of why. Go watch the interview with him as his brother. They got a podcast. That was a part of the reason why he said, hey, yo, Ohio State. Telling you it matters, Nevada. I know you know, but am I lying about Junior saying reaching out to Ohio State?
No, that was exactly how it went down. I mean, you can imagine you're on the other side of the phone from Ohio State standpoint, and they go, "Oh yeah, yeah." Julian's wants to come to Ohio State? Oh really? It's like okay. I mean, that was not part of their plan. That was not something they had their quarterback room kind of the guys that they were okay with, ready to go with. But when a kid like Julian Sand presents himself, you just can't say no to him. He's that good, and we're all seeing it. And that's why I find it so fascinating because on our message board, talking about Julian Sane, and we're talking about Bryce Underwood. The I My point is they're both freshmen. Whether they're freshmen, they're both freshman eligible. They're only going to have 4 years to play. That's the way
Yeah.
it works. You get 4 years to play. No matter whenever you decide to start the 4 years, you get 4 years. You don't get extra years down the road because you started as a true freshman. So you get six or something. You get 4 years. So like when people are like glazing the Underwood, I'm like, you don't think Julian's going to get better? You don't think Julian Saint's going to get more with more experience and more like, what do you got? I don't understand people sometimes, man, because it's like Julian he was the freshman of the week last week. Oh, it's a red shirt freshman. That changes. What difference is it? You don't get extra
He's
points
a
for
first
being
year
a red.
starter.
He's a
Right.
first year starter. Exactly. So it's like he never started before. Oh, well, he practiced like, so what? Who cares? I mean, I don't understand it, but yeah, I'm excited about Julian, man. I don't know if the people aren't or people, I know some people like Big Fat Albert Underwood or whatever his name is, but I'm on Team Julian for sure, and I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, man, me too, bro. I mean, like, listen, people, we just have to deal with the haters. It's just what it is. It's always going to be an excuse. It's just Grambling. But some of the national guys who are watching film and watching him they're not talking about it's just Grambling. They're saying, hey, this kid is really good. So he's going to keep proving that. Yes, he'll make mistakes. He still needs to grow. He's not a finished product, but we're saying that the sky's the limit with this kid. He has all the tools, and so he has the weapons. He has the great coach to help him, coaches. And so there's reason to be excited about Julian saying, even against Grambling, because he still made beautiful, pretty throws, accurate throws. And so, so that's what it is. But anyway, all right. So let's get to the super chat. Wrench Warriors DIY. Thanks for being a Scoop Archer member. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Get on this dude. Get on Nevada Buck. He has to atone. Shame. Ding, ding, ding. Shame. Nevada, can't believe you haven't seen Back to the Future 2 and 3. 3 might be the best one. Now, I'll disagree with you on that one. Now, I'll say this because I'm a Back to the Future just stan. Okay. Um, I don't think 3. Some think 3 is bad in comparison to 1 and 2. I disagree. I think 3 is still good. I mean, it's one. It's We could debate on the best trilogies because there's some other really good ones out there, but 3 is still good. But to me, I think 2 might be my favorite. Let me see y'all in the chat. For those who see, I can't even ask Nevada because he hasn't seen them yet, which irritates my soul. But he promised me he's going to watch them before the end of the year. But in the chat, do it in order. What's your favorite ones? Mine is going to be 2, 1, then 3. What's y'all's? Nevada, what you got to say about this
What
super chat?
was three the one where they like went to the old west or something like that? It
Yes.
was like the
Yes.
western one or something like
Yep.
that. That just seems like really confusing to me. But like, but
You got to
I'm
watch
gonna
it. They
I'm
lay
gonna
it
watch
out.
it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it, man. I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited to watch it because, like I said, literally one is one of my favorite movies. It's just literally one of my favorite movies. And I think you know what it is. I think I've been afraid to. Sometimes like sequels aren't. They don't do justice to the original movie, and so you
Yeah.
don't want to see the sequel because you're like, I don't want it to be bad. I don't want it to be. But I've heard people. A lot of people said that 2 was really good. 3, there's definitely a mixed bag of opinion on 3. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch 2 and 3, and then I'll give Nevada's movie reviews here on the channel.
Yeah. Yeah. So have no fear, my friend. 2 is awesome, bro. Like 2, I love 2. I love 1. 1 is so crazy because I'm open to anyone saying 1 is better than 2 because you can't have 2 without 1, and 1 sets the stage so beautifully for 2. It's just like they go hand in hand. So I cannot wait to hear your review for that. But
Okay.
3 to me is like is one of those things where it may not be great as 1 and 2, but by the time you watch 1 and 2, you're so in love with the movies that 3 is still awesome because it's just more of what you love. Does that make sense? I'm trying to
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it makes perfect sense, and I almost dialed it up yesterday. I was going to dial it up, and I was actually looking, and I was like, I'm a little tired tonight, so I'm not going to fully commit until I'm not there. But
Yeah.
I promise you, I will, because like I said, 'cause I'm a film guy, so I will definitely watch it, and I will give you an honest opinion.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm looking forward to it. And shoot, we might mess around and go more into we might make it a small bit or something of the show of different movies we love. Because that's one thing we can all bond on and agree with, right? Movies, great movies are great. Who doesn't love a great movie? And so and I'm a pop culture guy. I'm a movie reference guy, and all the other stuff. So that's good stuff, man. I can't wait. But listen, another great fun show. Always appreciate y'all. Chat is always going. We gotta have the best chat in YouTube, man. Like just flat out, man. Y'all always going hard. Stilly Matt, Grandpa Buck, Ryan Day's Championship Beard, Barb, all of y'all, everybody out there who's consistently on here. If I didn't shout you out, my bad. Dennis Moore. I appreciate all of y'all, man, because y'all can't see the chat, who aren't in the chat watching the show afterwards, but our chat is just incredible. So anyway, love y'all. Appreciate y'all, Buckeye Scoop family. Closer to game day, and we will see y'all next time. Go Bucks. Peace.